and stuff that I wanted, but
that's okay.
yeah, I mean,
I find out what happened to Chicken Cop.
That is like top of the list for me. I need to figure out.
I know I shouldn't care this much, but I genuinely want to know what happened to Chicken Cop.
It's, you know what, that is one of the questions we'll get into. And also, look, I figured that we can't possibly maintain a moniker as the worst tech podcast if we ever start on time, because I think every single episode there's been like a 10-minute delay. So it's like at this point we're starting at 7:10. Like no matter what we do.
Yeah, close enough.
All right, so I'm late this time, and I apologize. There's an interesting bug where
well, we're already live, so it's all good anyway.
We're live, and it's like better than last time. I think last time was like a 15-minute delay. No,
we're getting more efficient at this. Hello, everyone.
Slowly but surely. So a couple of weeks ago, I learned that Windows will adjust the motherboard clock to store the time in whatever time zone you give it. And Linux will always store the time in UTC. And if you dual boot, they keep kind of fighting between each other. I forgot about that. So this morning, I booted into Linux accidentally. I was like, shit, okay, and I booted back. Yeah. And it sets my Windows clock back by 2 hours. So
that's convenient.
I know. So I was playing a bunch of games, and I saw, okay, well, it's like 4 o'clock. I can get like a nice 2-hour nap, and I'll be fine. Meanwhile, it's 6 o'clock, and I go and I take a nap, and then I wake up halfway through. Fuck, it's 5 to 7. I got to be live soon.
Oh, awesome!
I know. So I need to now figure out how to fix this crap. Damn. But anyway, here we are. It is Saturday. How are you doing?
Surprisingly well.
Great.
Well. I just wrote like a whole TOEFL mock test thing, and yeah, it was like writing my matric higher grade English exam all over again.
Ouch.
It was like 4 hours. That's just the mock test. It was actually sort of almost insulting, because like some of the questions is like, I'm like, okay, so I have written a dissertation. Oh, by the way, I'm drinking Harrier today.
Okay, drinking Harrier, got it.
I've written a master's level dissertation. I've published research, peer-reviewed research. What is it about this makes you think that I'm not capable of speaking English, and B, I'm not capable of speaking academic English? Because those are two things that it tests. It tests your English proficiency, and it tests your ability to speak what they call academic English. So
is that like Shakespearean English? Do you have to deliberately make the words more pompous? Is that
pretty much? Okay. It's just a very formal way of addressing things and sort of constructing your arguments and sentences. So the one I can kind of get, but the English proficiency, how do you think I got all the way to master's level in a university?
I don't know.
Hello? And I might submit we speak better English since we don't randomly drop the U's from our words when we spell.
So what's it? You speak actual English, not this post-colonial nonsense that America.
Not this traitorous to the crown stuff.
What? Oh my God, there was this. Somebody, I don't know if it's true or not, but somewhere on Quora, someone was asking, why did America drop the U from so many words? Like OU, and then just drop the U. And it sounds unbelievable, but I kind of almost believe it. It's because when America was expanding, a lot of people communicated by telegram that charged per letter. So it was actually better to compress words, and dropping extra vowels was the fastest way to do that.
That is actually so. I can't. I'm not even going to fact check it right now, but it sounds. If it's a lie, it's so well constructed that I would believe it.
It is a very American lie. No, it's like, we'll just drop some letters that still kind of seems intelligible to save some money. And that's exactly what they would do.
The free market always wins.
The free market may have permanently damaged language. Cool. So there is no updates on Chicken Cop. So just...
Let's get right into this.
Okay. I'm just going to share this out because I need it on like video record exactly who and what Chicken Cop is. This man is a hero to me.
I love it.
This was, when was the 27th? This was last week, Sunday. No, Saturday. So literally a week ago, some absolute unit went and landed his helicopter in a Queenstown Mall parking lot to go buy KFC.
Hey man, when you need those dunk zinger wings, you need those dunk zinger wings. I'm not even mad, bro. I'm not even mad.
But for me, it was it was this thing of like, I'm trying to process the chain of events because, and I thought about it even more since then. It's like, you don't leave from the police station thinking I'm deliberately going to get KFC. Then you drive for that. That's quicker, right? So it was a lot quicker than like, this short flight having to find landing and everything, which means that the craving struck him mid-air, and there was nothing between his craving and the ability to land the helicopter.
Yes, yes, I love it. I admire somebody who just has reached that level of not caring. It's why it's
and for me, I think we discussed, I'm just processing what it's like to be a bystander, right? Because you're just in the parking lot. It's like a quiet Sunday morning, a Saturday afternoon. There's like nothing going on. I don't fucking know where this helicopter hovers and starts coming down. You must think, oh shit, it's like a VIP, like is someone going to come shop you? What the hell?
right.
And then just some cop gets out, probably overweight, just stumbles into the KFC. Like, that's genius.
I love it.
More people should do this, even though it is like 100 kinds of wrong. It's just.
I actually support this wanton waste of public funds purely because it's so entertaining to me.
It is. I mean, yeah. Look, I don't. I'm kind of waiting for Nando's to make an ad about this. Like, if this story gets any more traction, they might just put us some kind of sarcastic ad, which I think would make
that's the thing in the South African consciousness at this point is whenever something newsworthy happens, whether it's horrendous or it's joyous, somehow Nando's will make an ad out of it, and everybody will love it.
It's, oh my God, you know what? Like, sometimes it kind of scans like the whole country as Stockholm Syndrome a little bit. Because like a horrible thing can happen, and Nando's will make a joke about it, and we're like, all okay.
Yeah. Well, oh, yeah. Nando's made a joke about it. Now it's totally okay that this. No. What? No.
No. It's like, hold on a second. This is not.
This is still bad.
Yeah. Which kind of brings me to Twitter. I think, like you said, I'm now too cool to follow anyone, and I should probably explain why I'm not following anyone.
I'm trying not to be hurt about it, but please do.
Dude, like, I'm pretty sure if I went back through our WhatsApp history, we voice noted each other like at least twice a day, every day for the last week. We're very much in touch. It's not, no. Okay, so I'm trying to remember what my state of mind was when I actually did that. It was like a week after I thought maybe I should do it. So the whole point, it's a little bit like schizophrenia to have 1 million people's neuroses dumped into your feed every day. And it's a very high price to pay for like the occasional interactions or memes. And so I thought, okay, well, let me just see what happens if I unfollow everyone for a week. I can honestly tell you it's been great. It's been so fucking great because I open up and I can actually show you what I see. I open up Twitter.
Is your unlock sound on your phone a car unlock sound?
No, that's my notifications. So literally all I get when I open it up, right there, is my own feed. That's just my dumb face all the way through. I don't see anyone else's stuff. It's like I'm talking to myself, which means there's nothing for me to look at. So I just close it again.
I guarantee you Kanye is going to be doing the same in a week.
But no, he can't unfollow Kim Kardashian. I think that would end the marriage. So like, at least like that, but yes.
Yeah.
No, and like the thing is, like, I still responded to people. People like shared tweets from like 3 weeks ago or whatever, and I still reply to them. It's like a messenger app now. But it's like I have no idea if someone used the wrong gender pronoun in the last week, and I feel very happy that I don't know that. I there's I'm sure some shit's gone down in SJW universe. It's just like, I don't know. My Twitter experience has been, I've had like 15 notifications, of which 2 were people talking. That's great.
Really?
I'm so much more relaxed. I would almost advocate everyone does that, but then, like the whole network breaks down, so you can't really.
Yeah, and loses all its value.
How much value does it really have? I mean, it's like.
Depends on how you define value. Or oh, by the way, I guess this is like the one tech thing we're going to discuss in the next 5 minutes.
Let's do it. Tech.
Okay, so how much value does Twitter have? I don't know, actually.
No, that's easy. You just Google Twitter market cap and 26.1 billion. But that's not. But I think at this point I would pay that, never to have to deal with Twitter again. Like, I wonder if anyone's indexed the amount of lives ruined and damage done by like tweets that go viral. Do you remember Justine Sacco? She was like the first person to get taken down on Twitter.
By the Twitter mob, yeah. Just kidding, I'm white.
Yeah, what was it? It was something like flight from London to Cape Town. She tweeted something to the effect of, what's it? I'm going to Africa, hope I don't get AIDS, lol, just kidding, I'm white. And then she turns her phone off, gets on an 11-hour flight.
Ooh, damn, girl, your whole life is ruined.
She's like the subject of like a TED talk, and there's like a book or 2, like, what's it? Something by a guy called Johnson, So You've Been Publicly Shamed. And there's like this whole book about people that have gone through that. And I'm just
what happened to her? Like, her fall from grace is like, imagine if like the hottest cheerleader in school, I don't know if everybody's school had cheerleaders, probably not many in South Africa, but imagine she suddenly got braces and put on like 30 kgs. And no, I'm not going to translate that into pounds because I don't deal in measurement units that make no fucking sense, metric or nothing.
Yeah, but like not only that, then she demanded that everyone still treat her like she hadn't gone through all that. Yeah. Like it's ridiculous, right? And since then, dude, I am sure Twitter has had like a net productivity cost far greater than its market cap.
It's a good. That could be a good study subject. Somebody, if somebody ever watches this, that's a good subject for like a honors or master's level thing. The net productivity output of Twitter.
Because there's net productivity, but I think possibly a more interesting subject, and this is crazy to think about, but Twitter went mainstream when the Obama campaign first used it as part of their like, their campaigning efforts, right? Before, Twitter was like this thing for a bunch of like nerds and early adopters and people with no lives, and they shared really cool shit for a few years. They
also shared dodgy shit. Like early Twitter dudes were like tweeting instructions on how to make microwave crack at your house. Crack, okay. Okay. So like,
and like early Twitter was very different to Twitter today. I still remember 2008 Twitter. It was practically a big private WhatsApp group. Like, no matter what the fuck you said, it didn't matter. Like it didn't like make the news or anything. Now it's like every day. I wonder how much of it is the fact that there's like this feedback loop of like all the journalists and writers feel like they have to be on Twitter because that's where the story is. But by doing that,
they start. How do you do, fellow kids?
It's that, but then they sort of start becoming the story because whatever gets pushed up in the trends is what the journalists know about, and there's like this filter bubble slowly forms around the conversation to the point where you open up News 24 any day of the week, there's a social media story on it now. Someone said some dumb shit on Twitter, and that's like the trend. So what I'd like to know is, this is now 10 years on from social media actually going mainstream, by which I mean politicians started using it.
Sex tape scandal.
But that's like every day of the week now. Dude, fuck. Okay, so I completely expected Malusi Gigaba to have a sex tape. He's just that kind of person. But can we completely unprofessionally speculate about what might be on it? I'm hesitant to broach the topic at all, but he is an MP who is in the middle of a sex tape scandal. Like,
okay, fine. Let's speculate. Like, what?
I want to know. My only question is, did he dress like a pilot? Because that's like there was a photo of him dressed like a pilot for no good reason, and I just thought there's something wrong with that. But now it might make sense. So dude, I want to know.
I would like to know if he's into like weird shit, you know, like if he's like, I don't know, if he's, and I mean like really weird shit, like get out of here with that tutu and like a cucumber in your ass shit. That's play stuff, okay?
It's like adult world entry level, right? No, we're getting like a few levels higher, right? Got it.
Okay, I want to know if he preemptively plants a pot plant and then like, I don't know, like eats it while lathering him up with himself with like fucking cream cheese and Skittles and just like swims through the cream like so weird. Like,
all I want to know is, are there handcuffs involved? You know, is there like a leash involved somewhere? Like, I feel that since we pay for this man's lifestyle, we get to know what he gets up to.
Funny is if he was in like full on like RV beer uniform. If on the odd chance that somebody that's not South African watches this, the RV beer is like what, our version of, I guess, neo-Nazi.
No, not even the Proud Boys. No, they're like still young. Like the RV beer would be.
The Proud Boys only. I mean, the Proud Boys actually allow non-white people in there.
Right, so that's literally the same. That's a good actually.
They're basically like South African neo-Nazis. Even their old symbol was sort of a take on the swastika.
You know what? No, they are almost exactly like the KKK, just minus the uniforms. Instead, they wear like the kind of brown khaki. What's it like? Desert wear
or and plakkies.
Yeah, fork. PTSD, meneer. No, but they're also like hectic into like the flag, but like in like Christianity, but in like a very bad way. And it's like just this weird sort of, so like, and also they're probably like the same size, like a couple 100 people, you know, and like not much more than that. But it's a good thing. Like, do they reenact the fall of apartheid by dressing up as like the two sides and then going at it? Like, is that sort of the scenario?
I would love to see that. No, I wouldn't actually. Like, watching another dude have sex. It's oddly enough not on my list of things to do.
And not someone like that either, but it's almost like a public interest story at this point. Like, all I'm waiting for now is for the video to leak, because if this is a smear campaign to kind of get rid of him, then at some point that has to happen, right? Like, there can't be the threat of a tape. You actually have to release the tape.
I hope for the sake of his wife, he's better at bedroom play than he is at economics, because fuck me sideways.
Yeah, you could say that. He must be great. I mean, he's fucked all of us with that, what's it, unabridged visa thing. So.
Yes.
Maybe he role plays as like a border control official, asks for documentation. I don't know. It's a disturbing topic.
I love that. That's like on a Saturday evening. That's our talk.
But again, it's like I just need to process that. I mean, what was it? There was this genius tweet like a few weeks ago, or a few months ago now. Someone was like, "I can't believe President Donald Trump bangs porn stars and wants space marines, and I still hate him." Like,
wow.
And I'm just like, okay, well, no one's perfect, but also like, yeah, we might have like a Playboy MP now. You know,
that's true.
I still don't like it.
That's true.
All right.
That's actually, I was thinking about that, like Space Force, right? Okay. And maybe this is like my fiscal conservatism coming in. How the fuck are you planning a Space Force with a $21 trillion deficit? No, it's not 20. It's 2. What? What's the deficit now?
Is it 2.1 trillion? Like it's in the trillions, I'm sure.
It's debt, national debt.
Don't, your blood pressure. Although I think America's debt climbs faster per second than ours does, like per day, at least.
True. Oh, it is 21 trillion.
Fuck me.
21 trillion. You know who didn't contribute to the national debt, though, is my boy Calvin Coolidge.
Right.
In fact, he reduced the national debt by $5 billion. Elect more libertarians. I'm just saying.
I actually, so I'm having this moment now in a game that I started playing, State of Decay, and it's like, you know, I love the setup. It's like, you know, you and a buddy are out on a lake fishing for like 2 weeks with no contact, and you get back to land, and it's like there's zombies. What the hell? And so, like, obviously, everyone's like walking around strapped, armed, ready to defend themselves. And like 2 hours in, you kind of meet this, like on the other side of the map, there's this, the judge from the previous town is like trying to start up a society where, only the cops can carry firearms. And then, like, depending on the character you're playing as, they say different things. And I was playing as the kind of sassy Marine, and she's like, it's like, well, as long as people are walking around, eating flesh, I'm keeping my gun, thanks. Something to that effect. And it's like, and I thought about this and I realized, you know what? If you're in that kind of situation, you really do want to be protected. Actually take responsibility for your own safety. So yeah, no, there's that. I mean, how much of that 21 trillion? That's a huge number. But like
21 fucking trillion. To put this in perspective, right?
Yeah.
There's that romantic phrase that so and so is 1 in a million, right? Right. Let's say, and then there's the phrase, there's a million, there's plenty of fish in the sea, right? So let's say there's a million of the ones for you out there in the world. A million people sounds like a lot of people. A million people is 0.01, not 0.1%, 0.01. It's 100% of a billion. Now consider how small a billion is in comparison to a trillion, and you realize how utterly fucked they are.
So effectively, it's like it's 1 in a million, but you can fill like a football stadium with that 1 in a million. And just be like that. What was that like scene from one of the Rick and Morty episodes with the like unity, the consciousness that just kind of infected people?
And there was like redhead with redhead.
And every man who remotely looks like my father. It's like, damn, this is some very expensive psychotherapy.
I was like, Rick, that was the moment where I really realized the level of psychotherapy Rick needs. I'm like, holy shit, dude. I thought I was fucked up. But
no, you know what? It's for me like it's a great cartoon. I love like basically every episode. For me, the one that just sort of completely broke reality was where he turned himself into a pickle, and then that group counselor that they went and saw didn't even register the fact. It's like, oh, he's a pickle. Tell me why you did this. I'm like, hold on a second. Like, there's no continuity. But I got to figure like if it's anything like the the Marvel universe, where like these things happen and people remember it. There was the episode where, was it Rufus, that homeless guy with the theme park inside him?
Yeah.
Was blown up to like enormous proportions and like floated over the US. I think if something like that happens, you adjust your perception of reality a little bit. So maybe
Once
everyone.
again, I'd like to point out that the guy who used to run The Apprentice is president of the United States of America.
I know.
It's like if Biff from Back to and this is not me bashing or being anti-Trump. I actually love the man Brad, my FBI agent, and David, my
Mossad agent. Yeah, thank you.
But I still, to this day, even if you factor out the Trump presidency, I still struggle to figure out a way. Like I do this thought experiment, and I'm like, okay, cool. Let's say you went into a coma in, let's say, 2010. You wake up 8 years later. Never mind the fact that they normally take people off life support or whatever from comas a good like 3 years in.
Well, anyway, we'll assume you had a generous trust fund and the hospital wanted to keep milking it. That's usually why they keep you for like a decade. So yeah, cool.
Okay, cool. I went to sleep in 2010. Okay, that's about when I finished like my undergrad. Not to date myself, but anyway. So how do I explain to myself any of the things of the last 8 years and have myself take myself seriously? Like, how do you explain any of the shit that's happened? Any of it?
It is kind of wild. I mean, I'm just trying to think. There was a because it's like we look at this now and go, this is weird. But remember Robin Williams? Let me just find it. Okay, so.
Oh, yeah, and updating myself on all the dead celebrities. Be like, oh, by the way, all these celebrities are now dead.
But that doesn't matter because, like, we'll train neural networks to reanimate their dead bodies in CGI in 5 years and, like, fucking...
There we go. Finally, some tech.
Jesus. No, like, that's already...
Well, I mean, we're training neural networks for uncensoring stuff, so, you know...
That's fine. It's like, and actually, it's a conversation about sex bots because this is obviously the R18 episode of Noscript Show. We've now gone into two different topics in that regard. But just to stick with this one for like a second, in 2009, so a year before your thought experiment, Robin Williams had a stand-up routine, Weapons of Self-Destruction. Absolutely amazing. It's like
Yum, yum, yum.
It's like 9 years ago now, so you can find it. And he actually does that same thing. It's like it seems like the whole country was taking a drug, fuck it all, for like the last 10 years since Bill Clinton, and they're just coming out of it now. And it's like Obama is president, and this is like a huge upset because that was the frame of mind back then. So it's like America's gone through this for like a full decade now of like, sure, nothing has to make sense, like Trump is president. Now they start talking about like Oprah being president. I'm like, no, that's not.
This is celebrity culture of presidents. Like,
it's like it blows my mind because America was like a rebellion against like this imperial power, right? And it's like this great experiment.
I mean, the requirements to be president of the United States are you have to be a citizen of the United States, like born in the United States, and 35 or older. I don't think there's a nation on earth anywhere near as powerful as the United States that has such simple requirements to be the president. And the whole point of it is because it was designed to be a system of peers, not of inferiors and superiors as other nations are. And look at it now.
And it's just like, because I look at that, right? And then I go, okay, now you've got this scenario where people are so detached from reality that I think it's been the case for like a while now. Like people have been getting so detached. It's like, sure, I see a guy on TV all the time. He must be credible. Like that's not how it works, but that's what happened, right? And you've got these people that have like no real governance experience and no understanding of like the civics of anything, and they end up in those positions. And it's almost like I keep telling people when they ask me, it's like, I think Trump is the perfect president for the United States. And not that I think he's a good president. I think he perfectly reflects the way Americans think about themselves. Like they pick the scary man off the TV. That almost makes sense because that's where they are.
Well, I mean, and this is probably going to get a lot of liberal hate, but technically he hasn't unconstitutionally drone striked an American citizen. So
it's
as much as all the sleaze in that, he technically hasn't broken the Constitution. So
he talks a lot of shit. But that's what he does. Like that's his whole thing is talking.
Well, he's
shit.
a property developer from Brooklyn, so that explains everything.
Because it's like, you can hate on Trump for like tweeting about threatening like North Korea on Twitter. Like, okay, that's cool. But the entire NSA happened under the last two presidents, okay? And like you built your own Gestapo without even realizing it, and the media did fucking nothing to stop it. So don't now come and be like, this is the worst.
Oh, now it's bad. Now it's
Brad from NSA, I'm sorry, dude, your job is a lie because you're not supposed to have domestic.
No offense to David from the Mossad either. We really appreciate your patronage and we welcome your presence in our lives to protect our freedom.
Also, he has a job that I wouldn't want at all, defending Israel. No thanks. Like that is not a job for me. I respect the people who put the effort in, but like just the whole thing. Just no. But that's the thing. It's like we've started detaching from reality. It almost makes me think that in like 20 years, there will be like an AI competing for the presidency and it'll win because for so long we've seen these movies where the robots take over.
Spicy, an AI that could run presidency.
It's not that difficult. It's the goal seek function on an Excel workbook. That's like 80% of what government does.
Spicy. I would... But could the AI run its own campaign?
Dude, the AIs are already running their own campaigns. Just the people are putting the content in. But the AIs are the ones deciding who sees it. So technically, we kind of already have this.
Fair argument.
And it's like, I think people are sort of so ready for either like robots or zombies to take over that if it turns out that they build a super intelligent machine that can like run its own campaigns and get votes, people will sort of have expected it because every movie they've ever watched, there's like a robot that takes over, of course. That's
we'll said AI make its own campaign and all that crap, and
that is like a whole subject of debate in like AI ethics. Like one of them is,
which I actually have some experience in.
So like what would the AI optimize for, right? If you told it to win an election, what would it actually do? And like the optimal strategy is to scare people and lie to them and, do whatever it takes to get a vote. So could it do that? Yes.
Actually had a good, like a third of my master's dissertation was on AI efficiency and ethics on how, and there was a large chapter of it that dealt with basically explaining, listen, the AI is not malicious. It's just doing what it needs to do to win.
Yep.
And if we want AIs to be ethical, then we need to build AIs that know not so much, well, it's actually a section in the thing where I basically wrote how if you want AIs to be ethical, what you want to do is not make it follow the rules of your current society. Because, for example, if somebody like Archimedes or Plato created an AI for whatever reason, let's say they could with their technology, thought experiment, then we think of them as great thinkers and philosophers and all that. But we forget that in their time, literally women weren't really full people, and man-boy love and pedophilia is, not that guy on guy love is wrong, but just guy on little child love of any child is wrong. But in their time, it was totally cool. So if you impart the snapshot of your ethics of your time onto AI, no matter how high you think those ethics are, it's a huge mistake. So what you want to do, ideally with an ethical AI, is train it to understand the structure, the ethical structure of a problem, and then it can figure out how to evolve its own ethics accordingly.
Yeah, no, it's a tough one. And like I think people have pointed out, it's almost like whichever nation builds an AI first, it'll be their view of the world that kind of gets, coded into it, right? And everyone thinks they have it right. And it's like, if that were true, we wouldn't be disagreeing about anything. So, yeah, no, it's an interesting one. It's where you've got what I love. I think it's Google. Was it based on a Stanford experiment? There's like a multiple choice quiz you can do online. What should a self-driving car do in the following scenarios? Like it loses the ability to brake, and all it can do is swerve. Does it hit like a pregnant woman or two kids? And they put out this like test to see sort of where people's ethics actually are, trying to put in those routines into a car. And I think as they were doing that, they realized everyone is like so subjective on what they consider ethical. It's very difficult to get to like a standard that everyone will be happy with. So I think one of the first things an AI would do, again, optimizing to solve the problem, is just remove the people that disagree with your ethics. Like that's like the Skynet approach.
You know what I would like, and this is my thing from a sort of AI and physics perspective, is there's all these doomsday like predictions of AIs and we've been through this before, I know, but AIs aren't going to enslave us if they go rogue. They're just going to wipe us out because we're really inefficient workers. We need sleep, we feel bad, we get depressed, whatever.
In South Africa, we strike for higher wages even though we're earning at market, that sort of thing.
Just, stuff like that. And we have, and each one of us is actually different because of meiosis and different genetic makeup. The two parents can't make the same child. There's too much inconsistency. So what they'd likely do is just wipe us out, make worker robots, and also terraform the planet's atmosphere such that it's better for them, because our atmosphere isn't terrible for them, but they don't need the oxygen in the atmosphere. There's certain chemical reactions that happen that sort of does wear and tear on them. So they'd be like, fuck it, let's terraform the planet, make it all nitrogen, inert.
What's it like? Optimized for the lowest cost of maintenance. Just go into space or do this. No, there's an anime that I can mention here, which is pretty good. It's on Netflix. It's called Blame.
I haven't seen it actually.
It's
I will run it I'll put it on my Netflix and chill list. And by Netflix and chill, I mean me chilling out watching Netflix.
Right. Not the other thing of like watching Netflix out in the freezing cold, because that's just unsafe.
It's ridiculous.
But so the premise of Blame is that humans did this, right? They built out these robots, and they taught the robots how to like build cities and do all the shit to cater to their needs. And over like thousands of years, it's implied, humans lost control of the robots because they had designed the robots to respond to their DNA, and DNA changes over time. So like a few thousand years hence, the humans that are still alive are so different from the ones that built the robots that they can't control them anymore. So they actually now, they are considered a threat to the system. So like they have to hide out in like these small areas where the robots can't get to them. And it's like this whole, like the whole anime has this concept of an endless city, because the robots, in the absence of any other instructions, have just kept building. So you never see the sky, you never see the ground. It's just city everywhere you go. And the whole anime, it's like this whole kind of tribe of survivors going from one point to another point in this impossibly huge universe with like no ability to affect anything, because they don't have the right genetic structure anymore. And the anime centers around this, I'm pretty sure, cyborg is like wandering the plains looking for someone with that genetic code. And it's like, it's obvious his mission is futile, like he's never going to find it. But anyway, like that, and that seems more like a realistic outcome over the long term of anything we do, to try and have robots do the important things for us.
The solution is to get off Earth. Like, not that I hate Earth, it's home, but in terms of astronomy and all that, and astrology, which I always confuse the two. I don't really care at this point.
Astrology is the bullshit in magazines. Astronomy is Elon Musk's industry.
I thought Elon Musk's industry was being every nerd fanboy's dream guy. Like, yeah, I want to be Elon Musk, smoke weed and date super hot models, and
let's go to space, and then let's sell flamethrowers, and now let's build a mecha because fuck it, we've got the money. It's like that $1 Million Man. We have the resources.
We can remake.
Has anyone checked in on his neural lace project? Because that was legitimately terrifying.
That's actually something I cared about for once.
Yeah, it's like, okay, the last update was like April this year. Okay, it's a really creepy looking prototype. But yeah, like nothing for like the last couple months. Oh, dude, there's like a seat. Oh, dude, this is.
I actually find that more horrifying that there's nothing for the last couple of months.
Because it means they're in stealth mode. I mean, the money hasn't gone away. This is a mouse head, micro CT scan with implanted lace. I'm guessing that they stuck some wires into a mouse's head to try and integrate it. And I'm just like, there's something weirdly terrifying about this train of thought. I'm trying to, what part of the mouse is this? I can't, is that like the spine?
Well, I mean, look, there's the jaw and the teeth.
Oh shit, that's right. Yeah, that's, of course, yeah, the two big front teeth. So then like the eye would be like there.
Yeah.
And that would be the back of the head. Oh my God, yeah, that's the spine, yeah. Holy shit, okay. Dude, that's a terrifying train of thought. Like, I love the sort of, he explained it once, because AIs will get so powerful, the only way to control them is to kind of think at their speed and be able to respond to them in that speed. And it's like, well, you only do that by turning people into computers. And then at that point, are they really people anymore?
Well, that's the other thing. Like, well, it's for me in terms of first contact, let's say, with an alien civilization. Mm-hmm. There are two things that absolutely terrify me, and the first is, and it was actually in an Isaac Arthur video because I'm a massive, as I said, Isaac Arthur fanboy, and the first is you meet an alien civilization, and they are entirely technological. They're not biological in any way or form, because that means there's one of two things that happened. Because, I mean, non-biological life doesn't naturally evolve or whatever. Like, you don't put circuit boards, don't randomly. Yes, I know statistically in a multiverse situation, eventually non-biological life will probably form. But realistically, in our universe, chances are there's no non-biological life that naturally evolves. So that means one of two things. Either A, their whole civilization went non-biological, or B, their non-biological subjects eliminated every last one of them for some reason. And that is terrifying. The other situation that scares me and excites me is if we get a message from deep space and it says, we're on our way. And that's all it says.
You know what?
Because that could mean a multitude of things, and
that it could, yeah.
Fucking terrifies you. Yeah, you're on your way to do what?
Just to hang out and chill. So there's
Hang out, chill, give you the power of cold fusion, or just eliminate you just for kicks.
Just cold fusion your planet. Yeah, no. So again, like, because I'm into sci-fi, this is also like a thing I think about a lot. And somebody, I forget who it was, makes a very compelling argument that any species that evolves with a concept of pleasure wouldn't explore the universe, because the technology to explore the universe would develop in parallel to the technology to simulate exploring a universe, like Matrix style. And why would you
stay-at-home civilization? Basically.
Yes. So why would you risk sending your people out into like dangerous space where most of them will die, versus just staying at home and doing that?
Because it constitutes putting all your eggs in one basket. If somebody takes out your system, that's your entire civilization done.
True, but you can still spread that out. It's like it's a very different thing. You can build a resilient civilization that doesn't explore beyond what it needs to.
Yeah.
But in a civilization that deliberately is like, no, fuck it, we want to see every last corner of the universe. They're the ones who are likely to find you if they exist, and for whatever reason they do it, it would not be compatible with our value system, I don't think. So no, it's an interesting topic.
Fermi paradox.
What was that one again? I
actually think it's on the topics list. Not that we have a topics list because we don't have a script for the show, but
yes.
The Fermi paradox is by Enrico Fermi, who said, because of all this vastness in the age of the universe, where are all the aliens? Basically.
Right. Sorry, because my thing there was just like Drake's equation, or he tries to quantify what the chances are of finding life, and it's like some ridiculous.
Drake's equation feeds into the Fermi paradox, basically.
That's
there should be all this, there isn't. I tend to, in terms of a Fermi paradox, at this current time, and again, I'm a computer scientist, I'm not an astrophysicist, I'm not an blah, blah, blah. I tend to think my two top solutions that I think are most plausible in my knowledge base is either A, at least in our galaxy, we are the first. Because the universe isn't actually that old. They say, no, not really, especially the Milky Way in terms of astronomy and all that, in terms of astronomical sort of stuff. A couple of billion years ago, which seems tens of billions years ago, which seems like a lot of time, but in universe time, it's not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The Milky Way was pretty inhospitable to life. Gamma ray bursts, all sorts of shit happening. So any sort of even basic life that started evolving probably would have been wiped out. We only recently got to like a cool, calm period. So either A, we're the first, or B, we just missed each other. Like, civilizations rise and fall, and there's a ruins of some civilization somewhere. Those are the two I think are most likely.
Because of course, like nothing we do matters if in like 20 years an asteroid hits and it's like an extinction level event, then on the cosmic scale we may as well not have existed at all.
A million years is nothing on the cosmic scale. It is absolutely nothing.
It's like, what's it like? Which actually we've managed to kind of get to the question and answer portion of this, because this kind of feeds into an answer I wanted to give. So we got a question. Let me just find it from Cornelius Schenk. Thank you. Just like very vague question. Will it be worth it in the end?
If it's another round with the mates, yes. If it's arguing with your girlfriend after she said, "What did you mean by that?" No, you will never win that. They will. Or it's like, or if your girlfriend says anything along the lines of, "What did you mean by that?" or "Is that how you really feel?" or anything. There's that saying, you don't have to go to any fight that you're not invited to. Nigga, you already in the fight. You're in the fight. You're not invited. You're in the fight, and she's freaking Mike Tyson beating your ass down in the corner. You're already in the fight, and you've lost. So in that case, no. But if it's worth it for another drink, then yes.
All right. So here it is. The questions: will it be worth it in the end? And then I wanted the second one. If a guy from Springs gets divorced, are they still brother and sister? I think technically yes. Family ties don't change based on marital status. So I'm pretty sure that the answer is yes. I would like to know who these people from Springs are, but I'm pretty confident the answer is yes. So will it be worth it in the end? I saw that my first answer was no, because again, on the cosmic scale, nothing we do matters. Entropy means everyone's going to die. You know, it's like at some point you're going to die, your kids will die, everyone you know dies. Then the sun explodes, and then all the suns explode, and then we have nothing left. And worth.
Oh, no, then we go to the black hole epoch.
That's but even that
for energy, and then.
But even that's just like it's an entropy epicycle, because if it takes X energy to produce the universe, you have to generate that in your current universe. There's no way you can carry more energy into a system than exists outside it.
True. But you can sort of leech a little bit from black hole energy, just a little bit, just to hold on, just that last few million years.
And so the question is, will it be worth it? Well, given that value is a subjective, like human perspective on things, no. The universe does not give a fuck what you think. Like it legitimately does not. So the universe doesn't care, like at all. It'll smash Mount Kilimanjaro into Earth at like 1 million miles a second at any point for no fucking reason. And then that's it. So will it be worth it? No. So just live your best life.
Live your best life, like all the chicks on Twitter and Tinder who are like, I'm living my best life. With pictures of them in bikinis. I'm like, okay.
I saw the best photo. Somebody posted a side-by-side photo. I think it was actually a Tinder date. Like the first one was a profile. This woman kind of leaning into a door frame and taking a photo. So the door frame kind of cut half of her away. And then the next photo, she's like twice the size, literally. And I'm just like, the caption was, this bitch hid half herself in another room. This is rough. This shit is wild, man. So Cornelius, I hope that our answers were satisfying.
Yeah, we hope we're not too disappointing.
I'm an optimistic nihilist. It's a way of looking at things. It's like it won't be worth it in the end, so you may as well figure out how to get the value out of it right now, because there is no end. True story, dude.
Shall we do a bit of a meme review?
We have to. While we were talking, by the way, there was a thing flying around that landed on my desk, an actual moth.
Moth memes.
Dude, I know. Where did they come from? Why won't they go away?
I love them. I personally love moth memes. Moth memes, as they say, as the young kids say, as the cool kids say, moth memes give me life.
I can believe that. So I just want to check that I saved. There was absolutely brilliant and disturbing video that I don't think I saved. Yeah, good. Yeah, I was protecting myself from myself by not saving it. Good. I really quite like, so there's the moth memes, but there's also the 3 a.m. pictures, like just the very cursed images.
3 a.m. because, sorry, I was just getting my bottle of whiskey off the floor there.
It's better than getting yourself off the floor. I'll give you that.
This is true. This is true.
So just I save like a lot of funny shit I come across. I thought this was quite funny. It's like life is so unfair, but also that's the system.
You know what? If anyone can solve their $21 trillion deficit, it's him. It's him. He can solve their deficit. He can do it.
Because the thing is, there's that what's that? But that meme of Trump. It's like, this is one of the worst deals in the history of trade, maybe ever. Like that does not apply to this situation. That is wild. And then, of course, like right next to it, I had to clip this one because of moth memes. So there it is, Halloween costume.
I knew it. I called it. I called it as a Halloween costume.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. What I want to know is, was he buzzing around and being like all annoying, constantly bumping into her throughout the night? Because then you're really in character. But there it is. Dude, moth memes are everywhere.
I called it though. I did call it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's like Halloween. People will figure all that shit out.
Fucking moth memes, bro. Like how?
All right, show us some moth memes there.
Let's see. Let's see. What's my favorite moth meme? Let me find one real quick. All right, this is one of my favorites. Let me just share this, screen share this. Because it feels like it's like a puppy begging for shit.
Okay.
So it's a, hold on, wait. Let me just screen share this real quick. Dunk. And screen share. So it feels like it's just like.
Oh my god, that was the loops, right?
Yeah.
Do you have the loops, brother? No, it's the lamps. Okay.
Yeah.
it's just, yeah. But that meme also didn't fucking die. Like, just, oh my god. So people are just editing.
And the sun. Is this heaven? Yes. I will give this. I will give this moth meme 8 out of 10 no scripts.
Yeah, in our non-existent rating system. But it's like what's that Greek tragedy? Sisyphus rolling the stone up the hill. It's like, it's unattainable perfection. The sun.
Sorry, this is the last time.
So, well, no wings fly into a lamp. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one right there. Fucking flying into fucking lamps and shit.
So, I need to just end this brief section with not a moth meme, but like a classic that came back into rotation. More people just have to see this photo of
Dunny Vilma goes to her first bar,
and it's like, yeah, this that picture is perfect in so many ways. I am glad this photo exists. Just that look, that expression, man, that is wild.
Dunny Vilma goes to her first bar. Okay, next meme review. What are we reviewing again next? I've clearly had too much whiskey at this point.
No, you've had.
By the way, I wonder how many people were offended by Halloween costumes this year.
You see, now this is the great thing. If I was on Twitter, I would by now have seen like some university student posting about this shit.
That's my one qualm about going to university in the US is going to be like, because I think even though there's a large SJW rising on South African campuses, we're nowhere near the level of offense that a lot of more sensitive Americans take. And no offense, Brad, you're a great guy.
No, you know what? Brad is probably like one of those old school, solid, garden country people, right? That sort of like goes to church.
New Jersey, the garden state.
If you're growing smokestacks. Yeah, no, I'm sure Brad is good people. He's just, having to do a very difficult job, keeping the world safe. Unfortunately, if you could keep us safe from these, outrage Olympics people, I think we'd be in a much better place. Dude, no, yeah. You see, again, that's why I'm glad I'm not on Twitter, because I would for sure have some of that shit in my
That's my thing. Like and people like rip on Americans. They're like, oh, Americans are dumb and all that. No, by the way, the average IQ of South Africa is about 70. The average IQ of America is 98. 70 is borderline mentally deficient.
There's that, right? And then also it's like Americans are dumb. Okay. On the bar chart of countries who have sent people to the moon, there's like America and then nobody. So you can't, so, okay, I do actually have an SJW meme, which I thought was pretty funny. Because this is a thing that's now happening. It seems like everyone... So you don't have balls anymore. And then it's like producers, TV, movies, comic, video games, which has happened to like a scary degree. It's like somehow the people that produce this media have just like, guys.
I actually have like, and now I'm going to use my identity for a second here.
Oh shit! We should, David, look away. This is going to get nasty.
Okay, so as a black man,
Oh my god, you said the words. I can't do it.
I was actually personally offended when they did that whole Spider-Man Miles Morales arc, not because Spider-Man can't be black, but because I'm sick to death of people like blackwashing or girl washing heroes. Like, so yes, I know it's been a thing in comics for decades and decades and decades, and it occasionally happens, but it's more of a gimmick. If I want a black superhero, write a black superhero. It is disgustingly offensive to me for you to blackwash someone. Like when Falcon became the new Captain, fuck out of here with that shit. I don't want Falcon to be Captain America. Write a black superhero. If you don't get it, get a black American to write a black superhero. Get somebody to write, and I'm sure women feel the same way. Write a girl. Don't girl wash or blackwash a white male superhero. Let them have their heroes. I want.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know what it is yet, and I'll go and I'll think about it. There's something about the word blackwashing that I find really funny, but I'll have to really think about this one because
don't type that in on the Pornhub search bar.
Okay, you see, I didn't need to know that, but thanks. I now have that boundary that I will not transgress in this analysis. No, you know what? Like,
by the way, I'm going to keep drinking as many different whiskey brands as possible until I get a sponsorship.
So do the plug. Like, hold it up and say what you're drinking.
This is Harry. I can't wait till there's like a whole list of whiskeys I've drank. This is Harrier whiskey. The Harrier is noble and honest and true. Somebody sponsor me some damn whiskey. Damn it.
I will. You know what? I'll find you like the cheapest bottle of like VAT 69 or something and send it up to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm pretty sure it's lighter fluid though. I don't think it's actual whiskey. No, like, but similar vein. Like I was thinking about this today. I saw like Google and the people that work there have had a big impact on the way people think about diversity in college campuses or work campuses. Sorry. The other day there was a walkout. Employees from Google offices all around the world walked out. Like a third of their staff just walked out in protest at the way Google handles sexual harassment cases. So cool, big bold statement. Got it. Cool. In the demands, they said that they wanted. They started calling it opportunity equity, which is how they kind of wrangle quality of outcome, which means they want more women of color in leadership positions. And I looked at that and I thought, okay, well, there's something weirdly offensive and racist about this, but also...
Okay, what makes them good?
But also, like, then like sort of just...
Managers or whatever.
No, exactly. So there's that, and it's like, but related to that, there was a bunch of posts, like people saying things like, you know, Are you a female sci-fi writer? You know, we have this anthology, especially for female sci-fi writers, whatever. And it's like this is very, and to me, it's like offensive and patronizing to reduce somebody to their gender on all sides, men or women. And it's like,
damn,
it is. So there's like this because in sci-fi there is a problem, quote unquote, in that a lot of the sci-fi authors are old white men. Okay, but that's of course because they invented the genre. Of course they are. Is that a good or a bad thing? I don't know. But to like be, based on your genitals, we're going to give you an extra shot, you know, like that sort of thing. Like because I thought about this, like what if roles were reversed, right? What if like we lived in a world where women earned more, worked more, did all the things, and men were the stay-at-home kind of housewife type of people. And I thought there was something very appealing about that, honestly, not having to work, just be like at home, TV, like keep the house clean and you can just do whatever you want. Dude,
I don't know, dude. Have you ever cleaned an entire house? Have you ever taken care of 2 or 3 children under the age of 6? It's a fucking mission.
That's what you pay other people to do. You see, because this whole thing exists in this very upper tier of people that have money, this whole thing. But I thought about that. And if someone told me it's like, okay, we're just going to kind of assume that because you're a man, you can't do this. So we're going to create a special category for you and try and promote you, even though you may not want to do it.
Again, as a black person, it's like, oh, hey, do you enjoy working? Like if I work for a company, it's like, hey, like, I mean, I've worked, and I'm not going to name names, obviously, but I've worked for companies that were like, they'll have sort of investors or business partners come in and they'll be like, oh, hey, this Wotan Odin, he's one of our best black developers. I'm like,
oh, fuck's sake.
Why can't I just be a good developer? I'm just as good as all these other oaks.
I know.
Why do you need to? And I know that they do this. They especially do this when they have like black business partners or anything like. He's a great guy. He's one of our best black developers. I'm like,
that is just like,
and I look at them, and then I look at the investor, and we have like this black telekinesis moment, and like, where they're like, "Sorry, man." I'm like, "I know."
Black kinesis. I'm pretty sure that's a thing. Like, I'm convinced that
it is a thing. It is a thing. I'm mentally speaking to Snoop Dogg right now.
Because there's like this weird thing where like black people who have never been to a place can go in and just fit right in, like no matter what. There's like this weird thing, which is cool. No, but like you say, in South Africa, there's a thing now. There's a bunch of lawyers that want to create an association that's solely staffed by black lawyers. They want to be like, black and women lawyers, and that's kind of what they want to do. And I looked at that and I thought, okay, that's a little bit annoying. And then I thought, no, that's actually pretty cool, because they had this argument that all the like really big cases, commercial and all the rest, get handled by white lawyers, and they feel it's unfair because there's like more black people and more black lawyers.
Yeah, like ask Jay-Z why his chief lawyer was white.
That sort of shit. And so they're like, no, we can do the same job these people can, so we're going to start an association ourselves. And it's like, that's cool, because that's better than demanding other people change what they're doing. You just do your own thing. And if you're as good as the other lawyers, eventually that'll be the standard. So I'm kind of okay with that. I would not be okay if they started like doing the American way of just kind of force big companies through coercion into changing the way they hire people. Which brings me back to this Google thing. Like, Google has had such an enormous impact. I don't think people realize this, of the way they've built their company and the amount of people that have gone in and out and sort of pollinated other tech companies. The sort of mindset's been installed that the world is not fair unless we think the outcomes are fair, which is not how the world works at fucking all. But, that's what they now think. And I'm convinced that's had a ripple effect in the media, which is why you have comics like this, where it's like, why are you, like you said, blackwashing superheroes? I mean, for my money...
It's offensive to me. I don't want you to turn Captain America black.
Like, for my money, if they went and wrote a brand new character from the ground up who was like a UK-based billionaire played by Idris Elba, that's a very good character right there.
Done.
Fucking, I would be into that. But if
also, even if they're not black or whatever, I don't need to understand that. Case in point, my mom, right? There didn't need to be. I didn't need to hear a story. My mom didn't need to hear a story about a black woman in South Africa who grew up in apartheid, who got 2 master's degrees, and made so much amount of money in her lifetime and supported her sons and all that. And she didn't need to hear that story to believe that she could do that. I didn't need to hear a story of a super programmer black guy to think, hey, I can be a programmer too. No, I don't need to hear that story. Please stop saying that I need to hear the story of this person that I am a group with to believe that I can do it.
But okay,
I believe that I can do it already.
Here's the thing that legitimately blows my mind, and we're kind of reaching the end of our hour, but this is really something that I need to say. Functionally speaking, university lectures, TED Talks, and stand-up comedy are basically indistinguishable. The concept is the same. There's a person with
which is not necessarily a good thing.
Exactly.
Oh, by the way, can we just do 2 more memes before we go?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But just on this point, right? Like I've learned, if there's one thing I've learned, is that education is not a context. Like, it's not a thing that happens in a building with a teacher. It happens all the time. You take information in and process it. So there's this weird separation from reality where we sort of start treating entertainment as fact, and Hollywood has a big part to play in this. And part of that is this notion of inspiring people by telling them what they could be, as if you're supposed to like lecture them to produce the society you want to see, sort of thing. And it's like that, it feels so wrong. I mean, like, America, like in the kind of the cultural sense, broke away from England because that's exactly what they were doing. They were telling people how to live their lives. It's why people keep trying to leave Islam, because there's this rule of how you have to live your life. And it's like we got away from that.
Well, not just Islam, like even in, I mean, people say, and I'm risking a lot of ire here, but even in Judaism and Christianity, certain sects of Jude, like the really fucking Orthodox Jewish people, the really fucking fundamentalist Christians, they also, that sort of, there's that thing where you have to live your life this way.
There's this thing, and it's like this, And it's weird how we've all sort of accepted that inspiration is a thing where somebody famous tells you what you can do versus you realizing what you can do on your own. Because that's far more empowering. Actually, like, I can do this. So like with the writing thing, if we lived in that parallel universe and they said, okay, we're going to open this category, especially for men because they're underrepresented. Like, first of all, if I'm underrepresented, it's because I don't really want it. But okay, sure, this is something that's offensive now to me because you're doing this because you think the world should look a certain way. And there is no law that says the world has to look this way.
Hence, he's one of our best black programmers, and it is beyond offensive to me. Fortunately, I haven't heard it too many times, but each time I've heard it a handful. It just drives me up. I just sort of like
it's like
my mouse, and I'm like,
so hang on.
Oh, fuck you.
So just assuming it's a white guy who said it, I feel almost compelled to apologize on his behalf, but I won't because fuck him. Maybe.
Yeah. It was, but yeah, fuck him. You don't need to apologize for that, but yeah.
It's like, although, I mean, if everything you wrote was like in perfect rhyme and you used like hip hop lyrics, that would be impressive.
Okay, new thing. Next week's show. The first 5 minutes of next week's show, everything I will do will be a perfect like freestyle rap. I'm not even kidding.
There was a James Corden video. It's like a dramatic scene shot in a hospital using nothing but Drake lyrics.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that video. Yes.
So it's like, okay, if you're doing that and it's like you're exemplifying black culture, whatever that is, okay, maybe. But if it's like an identity thing, that's just gross. That just sucks. So, but that clip was actually pretty cool.
It was actually great. It was amazing.
Because I think like the guy just walks in and says his name for like no reason at the start of it. It's just like, that's what they do.
It's like in one half, it's like, you used to call me on my cell phone late night when you need night. Like, that was so out of context. I know it's a Drake lyric. I know. I'm actually a huge fan of Drake. Light-skinned black guy comments incoming. But anyway, I'm a huge fan of Drake. It's like, this is so out of context.
But it's like, you know what? And this is the thing you have to protect and not let these identitarians win, because then they seem to want to kill culture completely. It's like you're not allowed to laugh at anything unless it's prescribed, and that list keeps getting smaller. So it's like, no.
I personally love sushi and biltong, as I said earlier on Twitter tonight, and those are two cultures I'm in no way a part of. Japanese and Afrikaans, no way a part of.
But every now and then
I have dated a few Afrikaans girls because I live in Pretoria, so
that's almost like mandatory, I think, in Pretoria. And until it's Tshwane now, you have to use the correct name. I love how everyone.
Okay, City of Tshwane, yeah.
I like how everyone just still calls it Pretoria. Like, it's like the government's like, we want to change the name, and everyone's like, cool, no, it's still Pretoria until we die and our kids move away. It's Pretoria.
All right, last couple of memes.
Let's do it.
Meme review.
Bam, 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 bam. All right.
What are we reviewing? What do you want to talk about? The Glory of Rome, or Alex Jones is a fucking gay frog?
Oh my god, do we have more Alex Jones memes?
I do have an Alex Jones meme, but it's like a cursed image. Once you view this image, you'll be cursed for it. It's actually, I inboxed it to you.
Where is it? Oh, you did. Yes. Okay, hang on. Let me. So hang on. Is this something that I actually want to share out? Or, oh, it's a video. It's like we can't play videos yet. Like getting sound. Oh my fuck! What? Okay, you don't even need sound for this. I apologize. I'm going to share this right fucking now.
It's Alex Jones, and he's jumping around and saying.
Okay, we are doing this.
It's Alex Jones, and at this. Jumping around saying, it's okay, because I'm a totally cool gay frog.
This guy is such a meme.
And he's saying, oh, there's atrazine in the water, but that's fine, because I'm fine with atrazine, because it makes me gay. I'm totally cool with it. I'm like, okay, Alex Jones, there are so many things wrong with that assumption and what you are saying, and just there's so many things wrong, but you are... First of all, the assumption is, let's assume, what offends me, first of all, is that being gay is bad. Like, imagine, like, let's switch it. Like, this makes me black, okay? Is it bad to be black? Like, But also just the ridiculous. Like, I've lost the ability to track whether Alex Jones is being serious or not. On certain, like, I know he had that whole court defense that he was playing a character,
which at this point,
but
like, he kind of is. It's and like the thing is difficult because Stephen Colbert did that for many years. He also like played a character, but he was always over the top and didn't seem very sincere. So you can kind of tell, no, he's making jokes. And there were still people that got it wrong. Like, he thought he was actually this like weird right-wing Republican. Alex Jones commits so well to the act, it's hard to tell. He's like a method actor. He's the Daniel Day-Lewis of internet cranks. Like, it's very hard to tell that he's actually acting.
Sick reference, bro. Nobody under the age of 22 will get that reference. But anyway, that's fine.
That's cool. I'm happy with that. But I mean, he did single-handedly create the gay frog meme. Like, you know, like, that's street cred, like, off the charts. That is.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water. It turns the frogs gay. Okay, Alex.
And then the funny thing is, like, there is like a tiny kernel of scientific truth to that, in that some of the runoff does affect the hormones in the frogs, and it changes their behavior a little bit. Like, there is actually, it's tiny.
The fact that he took that tiny kernel
blew it up.
It just blew it up. It's okay. Let me put it to you this way: if I write a journal article that is 27 pages, okay, I've never written a journal. I've written a journal article that's like 8 pages long. Imagine I wrote a journal article, a scientific journal article that's 8 pages long, and you took one line off of the abstract and you made that your whole thesis. That's what Alex Jones has done.
Which is actually evidence for him just being an actor. Like, by the way, like being able to blow all this stuff up. And here's the thing that should kind of scare you. It's like Trump watches InfoWars and thinks it's cool. And it's like already like, okay, we've abandoned reality completely, right? Because this is now information. This is not, you know, we fought the scientific method. We fought for like centuries to get to the point where it's like we have a process for determining what we know to be true. But
you think that, but I've been to a couple of conferences and I've read some journal articles and I'm like, I don't think this falls in with the scientific. Like, I'm not saying I'm the greatest computer scientist on planet Earth, but I've read I'm like, guys, seriously, look at the setup of this experiment. Look at the evidence. Like, are you being serious with me right now? This is a journal article.
So for anyone watching, this is now the overtime portion of the show where there's even less structure than before. I do apologize for that.
All right, last meme.
No, but just with the science thing, just to round off that thought, InfoWars is now functionally indistinguishable from CNN, and like that sounds like a thing a right-wing internet crank would say, but I have watched CNN create false narratives out of the thinnest evidence to serve an agenda in exactly the same process as Alex Jones does. So it's like, okay, nothing is real anymore. Fuck it. Because we had reality and then we had social media and KPIs to hit. So fuck it. We'll just burn everything down.
And now social media is the real news.
Which is terrifying and disturbing, and you know, like it's
my libertarian dream. Decentralize everything. It's my libertarian dream.
But also, people are stupid. Like, there was somebody posted a photo, and I can just quote this. It was a picture of chocolate and regular milk, because America actually sells chocolate milk next to the regular milk.
Also, I'm not wearing a black shirt for once. Just FYI.
Yeah, no, I like my black shirts. But someone posted a photo of that, and there was a story saying something like, surveys show like 20 million Americans think that chocolate milk comes from brown cows. And then the caption was, this is why we need the Electoral College. I'm going to find that.
Please find that. I would actually like to see it.
Yeah, hang on. Let me...
Like, I know if I had a very lacking understanding of certain scientific principles, why I would believe that. Because I'd say, this milk is brown, it must come from a brown cow, you know.
I just love the sort of implicit assertion that it's also milk, therefore like you sell it next to the dairy products, not the dessert products. South Africa doesn't like there's more separation on the shelves. It's like milk, yogurt, then all the dessert shit. Here it is. I found it. Just bringing it up.
I submit if South Africa got independence from Britain around the same time as America did, we'd probably think the same way.
Probably. But there it is. Study finds 16.4 million Americans think chocolate milk comes from brown cows.
I kind of get why they would think that. Kind of.
But also, it betrays a complete lack of understanding of how the world around you actually works. And it's fine when it's milk, not so much when it's your representatives.
Again, to be fair, as much as these stats comes out, and this is not just me like sucking up to the Americans, but they have an average IQ of 98. We have an average IQ of 70.
Yeah.
70. We have fucking chicken copter cop.
Our hero. I wanna find
God
this
help
man.
you if you try to bribe a cop in America. Believe me, they are consummate professionals. As much as the cop hate that's going on in America, they're not like fat, lazy, whatever. Like maybe in like some county out somewhere in like fucking, I don't know,
dude, American
fucking Oswego or something, or Rochester and whatever. But like in major cities and stuff, like they're consummate professionals. They're police. As much as the libertarian in me hates a police state, like walking through like New York City, like you see like sort of police standing guard outside kids' schools and playgrounds, and like you don't feel like you're going to get. I mean, case in point, like we walked with some of my friends and we found somebody's wallet, and their first instinct wasn't, oh, let's check how much cash there is. Their first instinct was, let's find the driver's license, figure out where he lives through Facebook. Scary enough as it is,
which
and
has
call him, look him up. And they did actually fucking hand it into the police, and he came to pick it up the next day, and they messaged him. That is the society they live in.
Yeah, no, it's like another, and like this is my last story, and then I'm done because we've paid our dues with the hour of broadcasting. No, so my favorite one is Japan is like just a completely different place in all respects, and one of them
love it.
So there
I'm
was
such a weebo. I'm like such a weebo, black weebo.
So I follow a guy, or used to follow. I probably will follow him again because he like posts entirely good content about software and pricing, and he loves Japan.
But not me though. Not me though.
Of course, I'll follow you. When like I'll pick 10 people, and I'll cap my follow at like 10. Just pick like.
Thanks, Kanye. But continue.
So he tells he told the story of something in Japan irrelevant, and then one of his friends chimed in, who was a photographer, and he says that he went to Japan once and was walking out, with his girlfriend, taking photos of everything. They sat down to have some lunch and then got up and left. And about 10 minutes later, it started raining, and he realized halfway, like out of the park, oh shit, I left my camera on the bench. So he turns around, runs back, finds the bench. The camera is still there. Somebody had wrapped it in a plastic bag to keep it safe from the rain. Like just some passerby saw the camera, is like, I'm going to respect this person's property and just put it there. And I'm like, in South Africa, you get stabbed for a camera. Like that's just so different to the way these things work. And yeah, it's like on the libertarian and the police thing, I've come trying to reduce the stuff to a principle. I think that there's a core principle there, which is maximizing the liberty of the individual, and that does require situational trade-offs, like having police to stop people from beating other people up and that sort of thing. In a perfect world, we all respect each other's space and property. In the world we actually live in,
the world doesn't exist here.
Exactly. So in this one, we do occasionally need the cops to do shit to maximize individual liberty. Although don't call them on two black guys sitting in a Starbucks. Like just fuck. Dude, I don't know if you saw that. It's like just two dudes waiting, and I'm like. But also, like, did they order anything? I think if they did, that might have diffused it. But it's just in general, like, what?
Because they didn't order anything. That's the thing. But
even,
still, like,
dude, I'm pretty sure there's like white college girls who pull in there with their iPhones just for like 45 minutes on the free Wi-Fi and do nothing. And it's like it's disappointing. That's what it is. But anyway, that was the last thing. Japan is like lit because
Japan is lit AF. Where the Noscript Show 100th episode will be live streamed from Japan.
Just not from the Paul Logan Forest of Death or whatever the fuck that was.
Oh, jeez. Fucking Logan Paul. Like, I love how... Like,
fucking American, dude. What the fuck? He was the worst stereotype.
Decades of, let's not disrespect... And then the first thing you do is just fall into that trap. Like, don't respect other people's culture. I'm just sitting there, I'm like...
You're such a
Okay.
wank stain. Like, someone should have flushed you. You should have been a blowjob. Like, that's the first thing I think when I see people. It's just, no, just, you don't, there's things in life we don't need. That's one of them. Like, I don't even have to have this moral relativistic framework to realize you don't need that. Like, that's completely unnecessary. In no context was that a good thing. So,
also, shout out to you. Are you participating in Movember or not? Not from a moral point of view, but because I look like a pedophile when I'm participating in Movember.
I look like a hobo. Although the thing is, if I arrange my schedule so that I don't have any like face-to-face customer meetings this month, maybe I'll
donate some money, maybe, but I'm not going to grow the beard because I look like a fucking pedophile. So
I just look scruffy and unkempt, like nobody loves me. So maybe I'll do it. You know what? I think because technically speaking,
we'll do a Noscript Show Movember. Noscript Show Movember.
Every week I'll just get longer and longer. No,
Noscript Show Movember.
And technically,
I'll tell my barber not to shave the mustache, just the beard, and yeah.
I might just like go complete no shave November because this is like 3 days of growth ish. I haven't shaved since Wednesday, so technically I'm actually still in the challenge. And I was going to shave tonight, but maybe I won't.
All right, fair enough.
Maybe I'll do it. It's going to be itchy as all hell. Like after like a week, it starts getting like properly just annoying. But I will suffer for the good of the show. That the glory of the Noscript Show is forever.
The glory of Rome is forever. The glory of Noscript is forever.
All right. So this was fun. I think we're starting to form a script, which I think is really bad. So next one, we should just both be on like our iPhones at restaurants or some shit. Just mix it up.
I'm gonna sit in the middle of Capital Craft, Pretoria, and just be like streaming shit, and people be like, "What are you doing?" I'm doing a web show, and just be like, people will either be like, "He's a total weirdo," or chicks will be like, "That's so cool." Like I also cycle everywhere I go, and I use a French press for coffee. Want to have intercourse with me while I have no interest in you? Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would hope to God that that this never becomes a check magnet. That just something would seem functionally wrong in the way we were doing this. All right. So a lot of topics.
Shout out to all two of you watching the show right now.
Yeah. So anyway, back to like and this will be the last thing because then I really have to go. Back to my headline topic of not being on Twitter. I'm trying to blog a lot more. And so what I actually realized is a lot of these shows bring out actual topics I want to talk about, like this whole extremely patronizing, identitarian approach to solving the world's problems, which doesn't even fucking work. But anyway, that is something I can write about at length, and I might just do that. So
nice.
Hopefully by next time I have I have something long and boring that no one will read, which I think
I will pimp your blog like a black man pimps crack.
This is a South African version of Pimp My Ride. It's like, we know you like driving, so we put a full petrol tank in your car.
It's painful that's a joke. It's painful that.
All right, and I'm ending on that. Thanks everyone that stopped by. Follow us on Twitter. Next time there'll be graphics. I'm going to put like intro
graphics. Follow me at Wotan ZA.
Don't follow me because I'm not going to follow you back.
He's not at Wogan May.
Yeah,
and
and we're at Noscript Show. That's the one you should follow. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.